It's interesting when you have a injury, so to speak, and you have a knee injury or my hand or, it's an ankle sprain. It's a lot different when you can't see it and somebody doesn't know what's going on outside the lines. Everybody's going through something. Success is not immune to depression.
So Kevin, you are now the new face of mental health in the NBA.
Mm-hmm.
How does that feel?
At first, it was a little scary. I think from suffering with anxiety and depression for a long time into having my first panic attack on November 5th and not really knowing what that meant to fast forwarding being here now, it's changed my frame of mind, and I really do believe in writing my piece that everybody is going through something. So knowing that it doesn't discriminate and knowing that I'm trying to change the stigma not only for people in sports but all over. And I remember talking to my agent and he said, "Are you sure you want to do this? Because a lot of people are going to talk about it." I said, "Jeff, I don't know if anybody will, but just understand I'm trying to help people." He goes, "I get it. If you help one person, if you help one kid, it could be absolutely life-changing and groundbreaking for that kid."
Let's talk about the panic attack for a minute, because that's when the world got a little glimpse of what was going on. So take us through what happened that night.
Well, it was very scary for me because I have always had the anxiety, and like a lot of people, and either it's like, for example, you want to go to bed or you want to go to sleep and you think, I have a big game the next day. And so what happens? You plan your routine, you try to go to sleep, you get ready, and then you dig up the worst things that have happened the last 10 years for you. So I think it was a combination of things that were going on in my life that led up to that point, as well as it was a 5-7 start, and on November 5th, I just remember not quite feeling right. I remember we went through a few plays, there was a timeout, I got to the huddle, and that's when I felt something that I had never felt before. I couldn't catch my breath. I felt like my mind was completely out, and Ty Lue had said something to me. I told him I'll be right back. I ran in the locker room. I was essentially searching for something that I couldn't find. I didn't know this feeling, and then I just basically ran to our trainer's room, fell on the ground, collapsed, and my heart was jumping out of my chest, and I couldn't get air to my lungs, and essentially was trying to clear my throat, sticking my hand down my throat, trying to get myself
Seriously?
air. Yeah, so it was.
You must have been terrified.
It was terrifying. I thought I was having a heart attack. I really felt like I was going to die in this moment. I'm getting hot thinking about it. It was a moment that nobody wants to have, but it was very eye-opening. And then going to the hospital after that, everything checked out, and I was basically thinking to myself, well, what happened? I've now come to a point where I just kind of lay all my cards out on the table and say, this is what you get. And having that freedom of mind is something that I've never really had. It's actually given me peace. And sometimes things get worse in order to get better. Sometimes there is a rock bottom, but I know that people reaching out for help or talking to someone, it does really work. And for so long, I put that off thinking I didn't need it, because that was my playbook when I was young, is to suppress it and be a man. And I think the masculinity thing is kind of misleading in a lot of ways, because when that's ingrained in your mind in an early age, you feel that way throughout. I wish I would have had the presence of mind earlier on to face these things, but sure. I think everybody has their moment, their aha moment, or that moment where they're able to come forward with these type of things.
So now I'm going to ask you what everyone wants to know. What's LeBron doing during this time?
Well, I remember the first thing he said to me after that came out was that he shook my hand on the back of the bus. He kind of let everybody get off, and he said, "You really helped a lot of people today. You helped a lot, not only a lot of kids, but you helped a lot of people." So that was a special moment, but I couldn't go a few minutes without another person in that community I talk about coming forward and saying, "Hey, this is my experience, and I want to share this with you." So it was a way of seeing a lot of people are being vulnerable, mm-hmm. and also sharing these experiences and having that community and saying we need to beat down this stigma together.
So stigma is still the problem. There's still plenty of guys that have issues And they don't need to come forward to me or to you, but
Right.
they do need to get the help. But there are players out there that think you're soft because you did this. They think DeMar's soft. They're going to think everybody that comes forward is soft. What do you say to them?
Like, it's such a tired statement. Like, I've put my time in this league. Guys put their time in this league. To be in the NBA, you're not soft. And to come forward with this, it's, like I said, that's tired, it's outdated, and it actually, in the end, is probably, for me, it was the best thing I did, and it's only gonna help you moving forward. And it doesn't just mean basketball players or anywhere in sports. This is an everyone and every human thing.